thing. That's all I can say. Anybody have any future board items they'd like to comment on? No? Everybody's so quiet tonight. Okay. Oh, it did. Oh, were you were, oh, okay. You were
I know-
whispering with Dr. Baker.
I know mine is going to be added to the January one,
So you're okay with
the
that?
alternative to suspension.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Miss-
Actually, I would like to still discuss, we never really did, regarding a possible superintendent's evaluation from our community
Oh,
and
that's right.
staff. I know I had
That's-
brought that up a while ago and then was told there was going to be follow-up, but it didn't occur. So I
Right.
would still like to discuss and take action if that's something that the board would like to.
So you're talking about a community survey, doing a survey?
Yeah, so there's some districts that provide their community members the survey, and that is an additional component to the superintendent's evaluation that the board can look at as they complete their superintendent's evaluation.
So I'm going to ask Bill Trejo to come to the mic because I think it's important that the board is fully aware of the superintendent's contract and the discussion about the superintendent's evaluation in a public forum to protect the board.
Hi, good evening. President Sadler, Clerk Martinez, Laura, and board members. Your request, I think, is one that the board is can appropriately discuss, and that is whether the dissemination of information regarding the superintendent. But that would have to be tailored in such a way that it doesn't intrude on the evaluation process. So it would be distinct from an evaluation process. Whatever that document is intended to elicit from individuals, again, would have to be done in such a way that it doesn't encroach upon the evaluation process for the superintendent, because you're the only individuals that are responsible for that. You can gain information and insight to inform your decisions when you evaluate the superintendent. But the community doesn't really have any input in that regard. And so again, if you're seeking information from the community, for example, the type of work that they'd like to see or the focus of a superintendent, that would be an appropriate line of questioning. But anything, again, that would encroach upon the performance of the superintendent or any type of issue related to the evaluation process is something that stays within the purview of the board exclusively.
So, Bill, I know that there are firms that, or consultation firms that do help with this type of survey because I've spoken to other board
Sure.
members from other districts.
Sure.
So it is possible to
Yeah,
do
you
some
can-
sort of survey, but not,
Yes.
but it's more for informational purposes
Yes,
for the
it's-
board to have.
Correct.
And so, Mr. Trejo, in the event that this occurs, the board may also consider whether or not they want to do a survey on all employees' performances and get feedback from parents, maybe for teachers or for other people who do not work here to inform the employee's performance. If the superintendent is going to be evaluated or if the information is going to be used in her evaluation as an employee of the school district, then the board may want to also have conversations about labor laws and the impact of staff doing the same thing with current employees. So having parents doing a survey with parents to inform teachers' evaluations in the event that parents and community members are going to be able to inform the superintendent's evaluation. So I want to be very clear and make sure, and we may be looking for some multiple legal opinions in the event that the board decides to go in that direction, given that that is not and was not a part of the contract. And so now I'm in a space where we're actually having a conversation about my evaluation in a public forum. And I want the board to be fully aware of the risks they're in when they are talking about an employee's performance in public.
Correct.
And the process of of an employee's performance in public. And so legal opinions will be shared with the board at a later date. And I want the full board to be informed of the risks that we are now in.
Well, I just want to clarify, it was just a question and I had brought it up once and I was told there were going to be follow-up. And it's just a survey. Other districts do it. So I'm sure they take into account all these parameters that you're describing, Dr. Baker. So I hope that the board isn't deterred or scared by this, because other districts do this and it can be done correctly.
We are currently speaking about an employee's performance in the process
Right,
in public.
right.
And there will be some legal follow-up as a result of that.
Okay. I think that to put this issue into perspective is that Dr. Baker, her position is correct. The community cannot engage in a process that undertakes her evaluation process. I think I've made it pretty clear that that's within the purview of the board only. This document or process that you're discussing should have no relationship at all to her performance. I think if I didn't state that clearly, I must state it clearly. Her contract, the superintendent contract, also outlines the parameters. So you do have parameters that don't allow the board to make inquiries into the superintendent's process. That is left solely to the board. Now, this document that you referenced that is used by others, I would like to review that document to ensure that anything that's being proposed here doesn't encroach on that. And I think it's very important that we keep in mind that the evaluation process is something that is done for any employee in private to protect their personnel and privacy interests. So to engage in a discussion in this forum about the superintendent's evaluation, I just want to make clear it cannot have any part or parcel in your interest in gathering information from the community regarding the superintendent
Okay,
or
so I
her
think,
performance.
okay, I think our next step is if you can procure an example of the survey from the other school districts, we'll hand it over to legal. They can look at it and decide.
Well, I think before you even get into that stage, it's a decision that has to be made by the board, whether you want to have any further action on this or discussion on this item.
All right, so
That's the first step.
that's a, like you just had mentioned, it's a, I wrote it down, another agenda item for another time.
Yes.
Okay,
But I really do want to make clear so that we don't fall into the rabbit hole of engaging publicly in discussion of our employees, and that includes the superintendent. The only employee that you evaluate is the superintendent.
and where we need to be careful is that the survey, while the people vote on for us to hold our jobs, the survey on the superintendent can become a implication on how they feel
Absolutely.
about the board too. So we have to be careful to decide if.
There are
wanna hear
many, the parameters have to be well-defined.
Mhm.
Okay. And again, before you even engage in this discussion, you have to determine as a board whether this is something that you want to move forward
All right,
and even discuss.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
And then I would caution, again, I'm going to admonish the board that this is not anything to do with evaluation process, please. If there is any indication that it's moving in that direction, I would forcefully say, to protect the interests of the district, that you not engage in that, please.
Thank you,
Okay?
Bill.
thank you.
Absolutely.
All right. Any more comments? Any more further board agenda items? Yes, Mr. Smith?
Ready?
Oh, you're just getting ready to vote? Okay. Dr. Baker, any more comments or smiles or?
No, just want to, again, welcome Ms. Sadler to the position and Clerk Martinez Laura. It has been an absolute pleasure to serve as your superintendent. My expectation is that we all lead in a manner that sets an example for the school buildings and the school sites, and that all employees are treated fairly, myself included. And so I want to make sure that any kind of performance or evaluation process is fair at every level, and that we set the stage and the example for all employees. And in the event that that starts to break down, there are impacts all the way through the system. And so we want to be very clear about what strong school systems, how they engage as a governance team, and how that impacts performance outcomes throughout. And so, as I mentioned, when Mr. Trejo was at the microphone, I will be also reevaluating the process in which we go through this. And I think it's imperative that the full board is aware of that. Again, I thank you for all of the hard work that you all put into leading and supporting the school district. I'm very proud of what we have accomplished and the work that we continue to do. And I hope that you all have a safe weekend coming up here, as well as a safe and enjoyable holiday. And in that process, just be mindful of the impact that your behavior and words have on others. I just thank you for everything that you guys have done. Thank you.